It's fabric time, everybody.
Hi YouTube! So I thought we would do something fun today. We are going to do a fabric haul from New York because I have my wonderful Laurel Tatiana with me and we've been fabric shopping for 2 days. We're picking up some stuff on our way to the airport, but I thought I would show you the goods that we have gotten so far, and especially some of her pretty stuff, because a lot of mine is a boring white for my upcoming elevation, but you have amazing colors.
And boundary issues.
And boundary issues. So I'm gonna get through my whiteness while you get your stuff out, and we'll take a look around.
See you later.
Hello, everybody. So we are re-recording my fabric haul video, in part because after I recorded it, we went back for day 2 of fabric district shopping and I got more stuff. It took me a little bit too long to figure out the lighting in that room to do a really good job. So I figured, why not do it when I get home? That way you can see everything that I got. So first thing, I'm just gonna go over a best practice that I've personally found really helpful if I'm going on one of these big fabric excursions, and it's to make a swatch book. So this is a really fun, just plain unlined notebook that I purchased from a friend's shop online. While this isn't sponsored by her or any of the shops that I went and patronized, I'm happy to link or give details for any of them down in the description in case you want to get some of your own goodies. But one of the things that I recommend doing is making a swatch book so you know what you're looking for. If you can, grab a business card for that business. And then you can also write down some details like how wide is it, what's the cost per yard, that sort of thing. And I'm going to go through and swatch everything I purchased as well that didn't make it in this book already, just so that I have an idea of where it came from before I forget, in case I need more of it. But we've got tons of awesome stuff. It also makes for a great place for you to keep some of the receipts. That way you can put in the SKU numbers. Those of you who haven't done retail before, that's the product number that they'll need to look the fabric or trim or whatever up by in their inventory system. I bought things. No one's surprised by this, right? So first thing, we're going to go with talking about gray line linens. They are a really gorgeous linen company. That is almost all that they do. And this is a really awesome, just white, tightly woven handkerchief linen, which will be perfect for making some more fancy underwear. Shirts also, it works great for linings during my time periods. So I got a lot of it, like several pounds worth of this. It's probably close to 5 or 10 pounds. One of the other really fun things I found running amok through the district is there's a whole lot of people that just deal in ribbons and trims and that sort of thing. My friend Tatiana went through, she grabbed some velvet ribbon and a couple other trimmings. I didn't purchase this explicitly from them, but I did find it through them, so I think they use the same provider. but I've got this gorgeous Indian embroidery with leaves on it, which I'm going to send off to my friend who is making a Laurel mantle for me for my SCA elevation here in the near future, because I can't possibly make it all myself. She volunteered, and this is going to be a beautiful way to do that so that we don't all kill ourselves trying to do all that gold work. Thank you to the very talented embroiderers that put this together, and the wonderful shop owner whose card seems to have gotten lost at the airport. Well, I have a new favorite fabric store in the entire universe, probably. That's called Bazar Fabrics. I'm gonna put their information down below, and I probably spent the bulk of the money I was going to spend over there, or maybe split between them and Mood, but I probably got more yardage from them. But before I went to Gray Lines, I found this really cute little bit of linen. I think it was like a yard or something. It was basically a remnant for them, but it's a nice lightweight tight weave. It'll make a beautiful soft lining for something, maybe a new doublet or some partlets, but it's kind of yellow, so I'm thinking maybe linings. They did have ones that were much whiter. I just saw this one and I really liked the hand and the drape for it. So next up, we've got this really fun sheer. I fell in love with it because it's got some really fun texture. It's green and gold, which doesn't happen terribly often, but it's super helpful for where I live within the Society for Creative Anachronism. It's called the Kingdom of the Outlands, and our heraldic colors are green and gold, so it's kind of fun to be able to dress to a theme every once in a while, and I can't do that as easily with my stuff. So there's about 1.5 yards, I think we figured out. I am probably going to use this as an overlay or something more like that and create some really fun textured effects. So this is a silk. They said it was a silk poly blend, but when I burned it, it came up as being silk. There wasn't any like hard non-crushable beads to it for a burn test. So there are 6 yards of this lightweight white silk taffeta, which are going to be super handy for either lining something, or I had originally got it as possibly making a vigil dress, but I wasn't quite sure if I wanted to use it. Whatever I use it for, whether it's a dress or linings for other things, I really love the texture on it. Again, I'm big with texture when it comes to this stuff. But you can hear it rustle. You can see it keeping its shape really well, so it could also be great as some petticoats or some gown linings to kind of help stiffen things out. I'm indulging myself in a new couple of pet projects. Whilst at the Medici exhibit over at the Met, I found a lot of portraits that had these sheer overlays or these sheer overdresses. If I can find one of the portraits that shows what I'm talking about in high enough resolution, I'll insert it somewhere on the screen. But I've really wanted to make one of those overdresses to just put on over one of my petticoats. So I bought myself 2 sheer options. I have a silk and silver metallic organza, which was not as much as I was afraid it was going to be. It's perfect for this. And it was 60 wide, so I didn't have to get nearly as much. And then there is this silk poly blend. This one did come back as having a little bit more polyester to it than the silk poly taffeta. So I actually do believe that this hat either has some excessive sizing to it, or it is partially plastic, but not entirely. So I have it in black, I got it in silver. This one's actually narrower, so I needed to get more yardage of it. And I think I'll do this one with sleeves, because there was a version that had sleeves. And there's one in one of my books that doesn't, and it's more of a white. So I think the silver will be fun for that. And the last thing I picked up at Bazar Fabrics was actually something that he gave me because I had been purchasing so much from him, and so had Tatiana. So we have these. Apparently their shop during non-COVID times gets a lot of African tourists. So they have imported from India and other places these very specific headscarves that they used to make the incredibly artistic, sculptural African headdresses and head wraps. I picked out a color that a friend of mine will probably like, and I'm going to send it to them. It's really pretty, and I hope my friend's gonna like it. So the last store we went to was Mood, and to be fair, we went to it twice, and we went to the fashion end that you'll see in shows like Project Runway or in a lot of people's assorted New York vlogs. But we also went downstairs and hit the home dec section. And I have to say that I really love some of the fabrics in the home dec section. It's actually the first thing that I purchased in New York because I fell in love with it so much. This is a poly printed velvet in a period plausible pattern. So there's some velvet examples from the Met where the coloring is flipped and you've got the red as the background and the gold metal as the thread. In addition to that, it's just the size. My very first Venetian gown I ever made was supposed to be a fresco that had this sort of coloring to it. And I think I'm going to make myself a little cape and maybe line it with that white taffeta. One of the other things I picked up at Mood was it's a little bit more than a remnant. So it's about 1.25 yards, 1.25 yards. But it's this gorgeous pre-embroidered muslin. Let's see if I can get that to focus. There you go, kind of. But because there's only about 1 yard of it, I'm probably going to use it as the front panel for a Regency petticoat. And eventually get back to doing some of the Regency projects that I had in mind. But this seemed like it would be a great addition to that particular wardrobe. I also got a silk twill, which has sort of this pearl silver quality to it. It's not quite champagne, not quite gray, but it's not stark white. It kind of makes me think of more of a natural white that you might see in some of the silks without crazy bleaching technology. But I loved it. And on the right side, well, the technical right side, there's a slight, it's almost like a print or something. Kind of like they were planning to sell it as scarves. I may not use that. I will probably use the back side of it, where we've got that same twill and you can kind of see some of the dots, but it's not nearly as obvious. And there's 5.5 yards of this. In addition to this, I also picked up some silver metallic laces. There we go. And there's 2 different silvers to it because I have a small collection of silver metallic lace that looks like some of the stuff from our model books in the 16th century, but I wasn't sure which shade worked. Okay, so last couple things I got from Mood were all going to be little notions believe it or not, as much sewing as I have done on planes, I have not ever purchased one of these little pendants, which you would think I would have done by now. They've been a thing since I was in middle school, probably before then, and it's designed so that you can carry it on planes without messing with TSA, basically. But there's a little razor blade inside, almost like a rotary cutter, and then it's encased with the fancy bronze bit on the outside that keeps it from being something you could actually hurt somebody with. So you just slide your thread between the grooves and it'll cut on the disc. So it was super handy on my flight home while I was stitching on a project. Another basic that I probably should have purchased a while ago would be a really nice metal French curve. I purchased a set of them in college that were plastic so that I could learn a little bit of pattern drafting, and lo and behold, 10 years down the road, I've broken all of that set. So I really only used this version of it out of the set anyway. So I purchased just the one replacement for the tool. I would actually use a ton. If you're doing any modern pattern drafting, this is going to be essential, and it can actually be really helpful with trying to gradually curve out like underarms, collars, that sort of thing for historical stuff too. So stuff to think about. And the last thing was something I was super excited to find that Matthew over at Modern Maker had recommended to me after seeing my fingers turn completely blue on a video call at one point. But I love using chalk to mark my things out, and I don't really love the waxy version because once you lay it down, you're kind of done. You can't just wipe it off. So that's just a personal preference, but I was using a blue one that was staining my fingers, and I kind of looked like a Smurf. But they make these really awesome little holders. Let me see. So they make these awesome little holders that the chalk just sits right inside, and you can start doing your markings that way. It does fit my normal chalk that I've already ordered in bulk. It comes with a little cap so that you can keep your chalk from getting trashed when you're between uses. And the coolest thing about this is it has a sharpener in the lid. So, let's see here. There we go. That little metal bit, if you look at it in profile, has a tiny little V shape in it that lets you sharpen your chalk and keep a nice crisp edge while you're trying to draw stuff out and trace. So I'm stupidly excited about this one, especially since I couldn't really find one that I liked on the internet. So thank you for the recommendation.
So my fabric hunting expedition started out with a tale of two sleeves. I went to New York 2 years ago to see the Moroni exhibit at the Frick, and I went to Butterfly Fabrics and found this amazing fabric that was a magenta hot pink shot with black silk, and I just fell in love and I had to have it. So I did, and I made a really beautiful dress with it, which I will provide pictures of. Ta-da! Here. And the downside is I cut everything out and had like all the pieces assembled and ready, and then we moved during the pandemic and I lost one of the sleeves. And I don't know where it is. And I'm really hoping to wear it in December for a special day, but you know, hopefully with 2 sleeves, not 1. So we went back to Mood, and I'm the lucky girl who caught more of that fabric. Hey, you can tell it's a shade of purple now.
Hey, look at that.
It's not spot on, but it's better.
Hey, look at that. We don't look like we're in a cave anymore.
Let there be light. And there was. And it was good. Okay, so this fabric, which is a magenta and black shot silk, I got a bit more so I can remake the sleeve that I lost. Then, 16th century Italy has a lot of what I kind of jokingly refer to as the t-shirt sleeves. You see a lot of these white sleeves that have rows of gold couched down with like slashes in between the rows. And whenever, so I went to Mood in hopes of finding a silk satin that had a different colored ground than the floating threads on top, because I wanted to do some of the, I don't remember if it's called crazing or not, but you take like a really sharp knife, like an X-Acto, and you slice just the top threads, and it'll kind of frizz, and you can see some of the ground layer below. There's some extant loose gowns, I think from England, with that, and like cloak linings that have that method, and I've always wanted to try it on something, either a cloak lining or something. So I saw this silk that looks like an innocent white satin, but the ground color is actually hot pink. So I thought I would do one of those white sleeves with the gold couching, and then do the slashes, and have just like hot pink slashes popping through. And I could also wear it with the gown for this fabric if I didn't want to wear the purple sleeves. Let's see, as my fabric starts to go off in a pile here. Then I was apparently in a very sparkly mood when I shopped yesterday, and I fell in love with about half of the metallic silk organza section. So this is a very pale pink cross woven with a silver metallic thread, so you can see it's got that sparkly sheen. So we've got a thin silver stripe on one side and a super wide stripe on the other. My plan is to probably use this as veiling whenever I wear ancient Roman, like 5th, 6th century, and have, you know, my very flattering pink around my face with shiny sparkly, because I'm extra. Then, let's see, oh right, in keeping with the I'm feeling sparkly, I also got some linen at Gray Line Linens. Most of that was Butterfly Fabrics, if I forgot to mention the satin was at Mood. So Gray Line Linen has this black linen that's been overstamped with some silver. I have no idea what I'm making with it, but it's really shiny and I wanted some. So it was in their remnants bin. So it was just like $5 or something. I think I paid 10 altogether. So I got for this and the other thing I got. My other sparkly find is this beautiful periwinkle, also stamped over with silver. It's a linen. also from their remnants bin. Then, okay, Meredith, cover your ears. Good girl. So this is some beautiful blue silk velvet for her future Laurel wreaths. We're going to do, Comtesse Isabella is going to do a beautiful retta with a, what's the word I'm looking for? Bazance. She's going to do some of her beautiful trademark bazance with enamel to make the wreath around a velvet ribbon holding the retta. And then I think she wanted either to make a second or maybe just a choice number 2. This is a forest green silk velvet that's got a beautiful green, like mossy to hunter green pile, and it's got kind of a red base, so it's got a really interesting depth to it whenever you shine. Those were both, one was some butterfly fabrics, the other I think was from Mood. Okay, you can undo these. This is, let's see, I think the rest of, nope, this is still butterfly. We're still on butterfly because they're awesome and amazing. This is a yellow cross-woven with a bright red, which makes it kind of look like flames. I had some of this fabric a long time ago that was a cotton silk blend. This one is 100% silk. And I ended up using it as accent fabric in lots of things. And there's been several projects over the years where I'm like, man, I'm so sad I'm out of that now. So now I have more. Yay! I can have liquid flames on things. This is a red silk taffeta, also from Butterfly. I'm making a Venetian gown with some of the red brocade from Sartor Fabrics, but I needed some coordinating red-brown fabric to do gold work on for these beautiful shells that go around the waistline. And the background in the Sartor is not a true red, it's a slightly raspberry shade of red, and none of the reds I had went. So, brought a little sample, color matched. Now I can make my shells. And it's a silk taffeta from Butterfly. This is a silk and metal, oh, that is hard to see. It is a silk and metal mesh. I feel like one of those, vintage hats. Its future life will be as a retta or a hairnet. Let me get it close so you can see it.
There you go.
It's got some beautiful copper in one direction and black silk in the other. And my hair, well, the parts that are not artificially shades of purple and blue are kind of a slightly coppery dark brown. So it should probably blend pretty well with my hair color. This is still from Butterfly Fabrics because they have huge selection and fantastic prices. It is a cross-woven silk that is blue, like kind of a periwinkle blue with a teal. And it just, I don't know, I love it so much. It makes me think of mermaids. And I'm probably going to make a 16th century satana with it, would be my guess. I love it a lot. Okay, I got the last on the bolt of this one. You can tell from that sound, that's a silk taffeta. It is a beautiful sky blue cross-woven with white, which I'm not sure we can fully capture, but it has a very frosted blue effect, kind of like Elsa. And I want to make a Dutch cloak or a capoto and accent it with silver for a very cool winter sort of vibe. And I have, I think, just around 2 yards of that once it's all pieced together. Okay. This is a rather unexciting but still very lovely, super heavy Duchess silk satin from Mood Fabrics. It's got that beautiful silk sheen, and I bought enough to do a jubon with the gold couching and slashing on it that you see under a lot of 16th century Italian gowns. And then back in Mood's upholstery section, if you go upstairs, they have their closeout area. And they have this really beautiful tri-tone brocade. Let's see if I can get the direction going correctly here. There we go.
There you go.
So I already have some cotton velvet to make my husband some pants, some calzone. And this will make a beautiful accompanying doublet. There we go. It's got a decent size repeat and 3 different shades of brown, which is kind of lovely. Neutral but interesting. And then also in their clearance section, which kind of ended up inspiring an entire outfit for the shopping trip, is this super wide repeat brocade. I can get it unfolded. Here we go. That is copper and purple. Like a very mauve-y kind of purple. I can get far enough back here to even see the brocade. It's so big. There we go. Here's my head for scale. And if you want to do the other side, I haven't decided which side I want to be front. Here is the purple as the ground. Ooh, probably this one. The purple as the ground with the copper as the design. So to coordinate with that, over at Butterfly Fabrics, I got this beautiful purple cross-woven with black silk that's in kind of a slightly deeper, almost plummy version of that mauve to make a satana to go with it. So that's those together. And then I just stumbled across this amazing silk metal fabric that is a copper with a beautiful design in it to make a partlet and a retta to hairnet with. And let's see if we can get all 3 together in one frame. It needs to be an octopus. There we go. So that's my color story. And then let me put it on top of the purple so you can better see the design. So here is the design on that beautiful copper metal thread. And I think that's it. That is my fabric haul from New York to Make It Rain.
Let's make it rain. Make it rain all the fabrics.
Woo! Piles of fabric. Now my boys will be super happy I've made a cave. Fabric cave.
Made a cave, and you're going to be internet famous. This totally isn't the Denver Broncos right now. Anyway, so thank you guys for sticking around and enjoying our lovely fabric haul. We are going to continue to make it rain and try to pack up so we can fly out. But in the meantime, if you haven't already, hit that like button so that this can get out to more people and they can see more cool independent businesses in the garment district. As well as maybe subscribe if you like my fabric shenanigans. I try to post every week, but sometimes it ends up being every other week. Like the week that we've been spending here in New York to try and search for stuff. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!
Bye. We'll never know. No, wait, we will. Just give it a minute.
Flop. Dear cars.